It's so good to see you. Welcome and good morning. It's Kirsten Liebelt. It must be 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We do this every day, Monday through Friday. And I'm so happy to have you guys come and join me for just a little bit of time in your morning. Let's go. All right. So today, you guys, what I really want to talk about, and this again, things come from the conversations I'm having with y'all in my back rooms, quote unquote, in my inboxes and my texts and all the good things. And so today, this is what I want to talk about: how stress is silently destroying your health and what you can do about it. But it's specifically, wow, now I sound like one of my grandsons. It is specifically tied, you guys, to insulin resistance. And a lot of people do not understand. I know that, insulin resistance can be really frustrating because you're like, I'm trying to lose weight, but it also creates issues with stress. So what maybe the connection isn't made is, and I just recently was hearing somebody talk about how when they turned back their insulin resistance, like they had no idea that their anxiety was going to diminish and for her disappear. Have you ever heard that? Has anybody told you that? Instead of saying, oh, you're insulin resistant, here's a script. Oh, and you're depressed, here's another script, and not ever making that connection for you. Have you ever thought about that? Good morning, Terry. So that's why I find these things to be super, uber important to talk to you about, because maybe you haven't thought about that your insulin resistance is causing anxiety and you're like, and you think you've got other issues, when what if you turned back your insulin resistance and your health got better so that your mental health got better? What? Okay, so housekeeping would be that, I am going to talk about a cortisol care cart at the end. And so you can always let me know and I'll get you a cortisol care cart so you can look at what's in there. But two of the things that are in that cart, of course, I'm going to have them in the cart, are going to be the new magnesium that just launched and the ashwagandha. And the deal is still on. So as just for housekeeping moments here, buy two magnesium. They're $34 a piece, but it's like marine source triple blend. It's amazing. My point being, though, that when you do that right now, you're getting a free full-size product and you can choose the ashwagandha or the vitamin D. And way more of you are choosing the ashwagandha over the vitamin D. So did I, twice. I placed two separate orders. And that's because those are both going to help you with your blood sugars and your anxiety and your sleep. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. So, okay, come on in, join in the fun. Let me know if you know who I am. Like if you've seen me before, like I'm normal to you, my face is normal to you, put a 1 in the comments. And if you've never seen me before, have I done that the opposite the other way? That's okay. I'm going to keep going so I don't mess you guys up. And if you've never seen me before, put 2 in the comments below. And if you're on the replay, let me know where you're coming in from. I love knowing where you guys come in from. Every time Phyllis jumps in, she tells me she's from Arkansas, and I love that. I love that. Good morning, Magda. And I already know Magda's from New York, and Terry's from Tennessee, I believe. Anyway, okay, so jump on in. All right, let's jump into this, you guys. This is really kind of one of those things that it's a little near and dear to my heart, and I'll tell you why. So when, thank you, number 2. So that means you haven't seen me, right? Because I said it backwards than I did yesterday. Doggone it. Oh, okay. So after I had my first baby, and I've always talked about how I was gestational diabetic with that first baby. And that was really the beginning of my red flag of insulin resistance, but I had no idea that that's what that was because I was super clueless. But I had really bad postpartum depression. Like it was bad. So because I was gestational diabetic, my baby was really big. He was 9 pounds, 13 ounces. And of course, if anybody on here is a Lamaze coach, I don't mean to offend you, but Lamaze for me was a total joke. It was a joke. I remember going downtown Minneapolis with my husband, and we went to the Hennepin County Medical Center, and we took classes on how to breathe through labor. Come on, come on. Anybody who's had a baby, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, how do you teach somebody who hasn't experienced labor to ever experience their first labor? So in the class, they teach you how to, like, you put your hand in an ice bucket, and the pain of the ice on your hand, you're supposed to breathe through that. Well, okay, whatever. All right, that's a little side note. But when you are gestational diabetic, you have bigger babies. So he was 9 pounds, 13 ounces. It was a really bad delivery. It was really harsh. Okay. Just that's a good word to say. It was harsh. And I swore that I would never have children again. And then I had 2 more. I know, right? Okay. That's how that goes. God help me. So I have him, but I lost a lot of blood while I was delivering him. And my iron was super low. So I had this whole postpartum healing moment. I went home with a Foley catheter, if you know what that is, and then it ties around your knee. Okay, so it was a not excellent delivery. Okay, so I go home with a Foley catheter. My iron is super low. He was 9 pounds, 13 ounces. I had a lot of stitching going on. You get the picture. I go home. It's a Monday. Had him on a Friday morning. It's a Monday, and I'm on the phone with my mom, and my mom goes, "You're not doing, like, you need to come out here and live with me right away." We were about a half an hour from her. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was again, remember when I tell you guys how I didn't assess myself very well? This was a part of that. So she's like, "You're going to come out here and live with me right now. You do not sound okay." I'm like, "Okay." Like, I was just kind of a zombie. So I take my son, my husband, all 3 of us go, and we leave our little apartment, and I go and I live with my mother for about a week or so. Maybe it was more, I don't know. I was kind of a wreck, not going to lie. That low iron, they should not have left me out of the hospital. My hemoglobin was so low, and I was pretty much trashed. And I wondered why nobody was coming and taking care of my baby for me. Like, I was really out of it. Okay. But I say all of that just to get you to understand that then when in my 40s, perimenopause hits, and I start to feel what I think are only symptoms of basic female hormones. Okay. Not understanding that these are all signs of insulin resistance. Okay. So now I've reversed engineered all of these pieces. Basically, my brain fog was off the charts, insulin resistance. My anxiety was starting to come back. That depression was starting to, like, rise up again. And I'm like, I had not felt like that since I had had my first baby. So when that began to surface again or kind of just reappear, I was like, what's going on? Like, where is this coming from? And I had spent many years at that point not assessing my body very well, not paying attention, kind of living detached from reality. My dad died of type 2 diabetes. He was 63 years old. I had diabetes all over my Italian family. I ate like I was never going to be diabetic. I just was kind of that person, not assessing, not paying attention. Okay. And so what happens then is when I start to feel that, it's kind of the first time that I went, I should probably pay attention to this. But I had no idea what I was going to do with it or anything like that. Okay. So it's not like I had answers. But now when I look back, and this is why I always tell you guys, like, every day, if you have a daughter or a daughter-in-law, if you're my age, I'm 60, if you're my age or older, you have a daughter, you have a daughter-in-law, they're in the midst of raising their babies, they're in their middle 30s, share information like this that could help them, because I wish that I would have known. I struggled for over 25 years before I finally dealt with my insulin resistance, because I didn't even know what it was, even though I had all of this history with myself and with my dad and with my family. I still wasn't connecting dots. But then and I'm just, like, always so thankful. Like, God gave me answers when I didn't have answers. Okay. So it's not because I was so smart or I was well read or I was listening to podcasts. They didn't exist. And if they did, it wasn't like it is today, where you get all of this information flooded at you 24/7. It wasn't like this, right? But I did walk a journey with like adaptogenic herbs and things like that, kind of unwittingly, unknowingly, fixed my life, changed my world. And I wish I would have known. And I wish I would have understood that, oh, you're insulin resistant. This is messing up your gut. It's creating leaky gut. And your anxiety is connected to your insulin resistance oftentimes. Okay. So that's where I wish that I would have had the help to walk me through some of that. Ended up doing it myself. And I always tell you guys, it was just me and Jesus walking my journey, but it worked out really, really well. But now I can like help people compress time, and I can help women have encouragement and hope and not give up. Because if you don't, who's to say that everybody's going to, be given, like a blueprint like I feel like I was given. So anyway, now I can just share the blueprint and you guys can have the blueprint. Let's make it easy. Let's do that. Okay, so let's jump into like the whole cortisol conversation, the whole like, the stress and anxiety. Because this is what could happen if you totally ignore any of your stress or your anxiety right now. Okay, so let's go through a little scenario. All right, just pause for a second. I know, put down your coffee, turn off the TV, like just calm your noise around you for just a second and imagine that it's 12 months from now. So it is now March 2026. It's 12 months from now. And instead of feeling better, which was your goal, it's why you end up on my content, because you want to feel better. You want to turn back your insulin resistance. You want to get off of meds. You want to lose weight, change sizes, etc. But instead of feeling better, everything has worsened. Okay, how does that feel inside of you, right? Your energy is tanking, and no matter how much you sleep, you wake up exhausted. The extra pounds around your midsection have now multiplied. And your cravings for sugar and carbs are out of control. Your brain feels foggy, like you're moving through life in slow motion. Anxiety flares up over the smallest of things, and your patience with loved ones is razor thin. Your digestion is unpredictable. Some days you're bloated and uncomfortable. Other days your gut feels like it's in knots. You might even hear your doctor mention pre-diabetes or fatty liver. And suddenly the reality hits. This isn't just stress anymore. It's a full body breakdown. Ignoring stress and insulin resistance doesn't just keep you stuck. It pulls you deeper into the cycle. But the good news is that you don't have to stay there with the right tools and the right support. Hi, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. Nice to meet you. And the right nutrients, you can turn everything around. You really, really, really can. But you have to actually embrace the truth that stress over time is literally breaking down your systems, and it doesn't get better all on its own. You don't just wake up and your stress is managed. Okay. So let's just chat about this for a half a second, and maybe we can kind of help you out here. So what are some of the signs that your body is stuck in high stress mode? And a lot of you, I would say that many of you that I have talked to, you've had dementia parents. I did that for 5 years. I'm just going to get a good drink here. 5 years, I took care of my mom with my sister. That's a very high stress universe. Some of you are night nurses, ICU nurses, and that is a very stressful job to have. Some of you manage really, really, really large financial budgets, and you are very, very stressed. I have aminos in here if you're wondering what was in there. Essential aminos is a fantastic way to get in some of your liquids during the day. Not only do they taste good, but they help your body a ton. Okay, anyway, that's a side note. So some of you are managing very high level budgets, and you have a lot of stress. Some of you just got through a really bad divorce, or maybe the loss of a child. I've had people text me and tell me they just lost their husband. Like, I hear it all, you guys. I'm a little bit of a bartender. And so I hear your guys' stories because you're wanting somebody to actually take your hand and help you to customize what it is that you need for your body. Because it's hard to find somebody that will walk that journey with you a little bit and to say, okay, let's do this and this. Oh, okay, that wasn't quite, let's tweak it then, right? And some of you want that. But anyway, so here are some of the signs that you're stuck in high stress modes. You're waking up tired even after a full night's of sleep. Okay. That's you just like you're exhausted. You just don't feel like you're ever getting rested. You have intense sugar cravings, but most specifically at night. Like nighttime, you're just intensely craving sugar and carbs. You have stubborn belly fat that will not budge no matter what you do. You cannot change your belly fat because belly fat is cortisol and insulin. Okay. You're feeling wired, but you're exhausted. So you kind of feel like you're running on that adrenaline a little bit. You have brain fog and forgetfulness, and maybe that's even kind of the joke around you, hey, you'd forget your head if it wasn't attached to your body. Ha, ha, ha. Geez, you lose everything all the time. You never know where your keys are, that kind of a thing, right? Anxiety. This is the one I talk to you guys a lot, probably the most in my messages. Irritability or mood swings. Okay, that anxiety is icky, you guys. It's a really icky feeling, isn't it? Digestive issues like bloating, constipation, or it could be loose stools. Some of you just have kind of a constant diarrhea going on, and you just don't realize that you're just kind of flooding your body, with cortisol, and your body's just kind of wonky and it's not dealing with stuff very well, right? So the fallout, when stress is constant inside of your body, cortisol is staying elevated and it's making your cells more resistant to insulin. So this is a very big conversation for you to even have with yourself. Like, do I want 12 months from now for my life to look like we had just talked about, where you're really on a different level of being unhinged and now you have more diagnoses coming your way? Or do you want to capture it right now and tamp it down and change it? Because it's making your insulin resistance worse, which means blood sugar swings, more cravings and energy crashes, increased fat storage, especially around your belly. So this is getting worse, not better. That's so dang frustrating. Your gut imbalances, your bloating, your inflammation, your poor nutrient absorption. Most people do not know that insulin resistance causes leaky gut. And so if you're spilling nutrients, your body is not getting what it needs to fire. It's literally like you are missing nuts and bolts inside of your engine. And that doesn't go really well. It doesn't go really well at all. Liver congestion. Oh, I just had this conversation with somebody recently. Liver is like, it's the bomb.com. You have to deal with your liver. You got to take care of your liver because if you have liver congestion, it's making it even harder to process your sugars and your toxins. Now you're just going backwards. Now you're just like, you're going 2 steps back forward and 3 steps backwards. And so then you are frustrated because you think you're actually doing the right things moving forward and you're not, you're going back. And then increased inflammation. So this is where, when I talk to you guys about how I wake up and I don't ache, inflammation in your body creates the aches and the pains and the metabolic slowdown. Okay. So like my mom had so much metabolic dysfunction going on in her body. She ended up with all sorts of diagnoses and all sorts of hip replacements and a knee replacement. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s. No, I was in my 40s. I'm in my 40s. I'm 60 now, but I was in my 40s. I'm working a job outside of the home. I had homeschooled for like 20 years and I'm doing a front desk job. So, my hips and stuff, my low back and I'm not ergonomically correct and all this stuff, right? I'm in a car accident and they broadside my car from this direction and I'm right here and it throws me, right? Kind of like toward over and towards the back, whatever. I start doing physical therapy for my car accident. And I'm recognizing that my hips, I'm getting adjusted, but my hips are still not feeling right. And so, of course, what happens to me in my head? Oh, I wonder if I'm going to have hip issues like my mom. Like my mom was diagnosed with all this arthritis stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then she had these replacements, and she ended up in her lifetime having 5 hip surgeries because one broke. They needed to be replaced, partial, full. You get the picture. And I'm thinking to myself, well, because isn't everything genetic? Whatever is happening to mommy and daddy, that's going to happen to me. So I said to the physical therapist, I go, well, my mom, arthritis and hips and blah, blah, blah. So, me too. And she never, ever, ever said to me, oh, yeah, probably. She went, And I thought that was so strange. I thought, why isn't there a connection? I didn't want it to be true, but I just thought it was an obvious connection. So then I basically, as I went through this process, I realized I'll bet my mom could have avoided those. I'll bet she actually never needed hip replacements. She just needed to lower the inflammation in her body. So anyway, these are the paths that I've gone on because, hello. Thanks for jumping on, you guys, on TikTok. I so appreciate you. Come on in. Come in from the balcony. So basically then supporting your body in terms of bringing down inflammation, dealing with your blood sugar, and dealing with your stress is like imperative. It is so imperative. So hold on, let me go right here. Okay, so here are some scenarios. You need to decide for yourself if some of these are affecting you. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. You're good. You're not late. You're right on time. You're good. You're good, good, good. Okay, so you're waking up tired even after a night's sleep. You have to decide if this is you, okay? You set your alarm for 7 a.m., thinking you got a solid 8 hours, but when you wake up, you feel like you barely slept. Raise your hand in the comments if this is you. You drag yourself to the kitchen for coffee because without it, you cannot function. By mid-morning, you're already dreaming of a nap. And by 2 p.m., the afternoon slump hits like a brick wall. Is that you? Okay, that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2. Intense sugar cravings, and especially at night. Remember, we just talked about that, especially at night. So all day you try to eat healthy. You're eating healthy, but by 8 p.m. you find yourself in the kitchen and you're rummaging through the pantry for something sweet. Maybe it's a handful of chocolate chips or a granola bar or even a bowl of cereal, all of these things. No. Don't be doing this. If you're going to have chips, like have Baked Believe or Lily's. But anyway, but ditch the granola bar and the cereal for sure, like be gone, all grain. Anyway, you tell yourself just this once, but it's happening every night. Like you're doing this night after night and your willpower feels non-existent. And then you're mean to yourself, aren't you? I know you. You're not nice to yourself in your head. Ask me how I know. Scenario number 3, stubborn belly fat that won't budge. You cut calories. You're walking every day. Maybe you're even trying intermittent fasting, but nothing is working. Your midsection keeps expanding and your clothes are fitting tighter. The scale isn't moving and it's beyond frustrating because you feel like you're doing everything right. I hear this a lot. I'm eating healthy. I'm doing everything right. Why can't I lose a pound? And we talk about that like every day. Thank you for liking. Thank you, Feduma 020. I appreciate you so much. And it's because we're not factoring in, we're not changing the lens so that we can view things through the lens of insulin resistance, right? Now you're feeling wired but exhausted. It's bedtime and your body should be winding down, but instead your mind is racing. Your heart feels jittery and you cannot relax. When you finally fall asleep, it's restless, tossing and turning, waking up multiple times, or even worse. You wake up exhausted all over again. Okay, that's that wired but exhausted. The next one is the brain fog and forgetfulness. You walk into a room and you completely forgot why you're there. I mean, I know we laugh about stuff like that, but what if it's a symptom of something, okay? You're in the middle of a conversation and you lose your train of thought, right? You're reading something, but it's not sticking. It's like your brain is moving in slow motion, and no matter the amount of caffeine, it doesn't help. It just doesn't help. This is really this is where I was when I was in my 40s and I started working outside of the home. And I realized that my brain fog was really bad. And that felt super vulnerable when you're at a job and you know you need to be multitasking at a high level and you work with younger women. You're like, you feel very vulnerable. Anxiety, irritability, and mood swings. Here we go. This is the hot button for today, right? The smallest things set you off. Your patience is razor thin and you snap at people you love only to feel guilty afterward. You overthink everything, lying in bed, replaying conversations. Wow. Wow, do I understand that one? Oy vey. Some days you just feel off, anxious and overwhelmed, or like you're carrying a heavy weight on your chest. Oh my gosh, is that anybody on here? I know what these feel like. Digestive issues, bloating, constipation, or loose stool. Some days your stomach feels like a balloon, tight, bloated, and uncomfortable, even if you didn't eat much. Like, I'm barely eating anything, but I'm still bloated or constipated. Other days you're constipated and sluggish. Like that impacted waste is just sitting there with toxins, right? And sometimes food runs right through you. Your gut is unpredictable and you can't figure out what's triggering it. Wow, you guys, I know what all of those feel like. All of those. Every day for what, Linda? Tell me what you mean by every day. What did I say? What did I say? What did I miss? And I'll tell you, if you do not deal with your stress that is today, and I know it's a journey. I know that I'm asking you to take a journey. I'm actually trying to give you permission to take your journey. What if you actually prioritize yourself over the next 12 months? What would that feel like if you finally said, this is my year? I take care of everybody else, but I do not allow myself to invest in myself, whether it's in higher quality food or in the extra time that it takes because I'm preparing a meal for my family, but then I'm going to prepare something completely different for myself. Or I'm going to make sure that I have, other things that are available to me that maybe weren't in my budget last week, right? Like, for instance, I buy egg life wraps, and one person would say, well, egg life wraps, that's $6. They're $1 a piece. Why would you do that when you can get flour tortillas for 30 cents a piece? Well, because flour tortillas are the worst idea ever on the face of the planet when you're insulin resistant. Like, that's ridiculous. So you have to give yourself permission for this journey, okay? But if you don't, this is what can kind of look like in 12 months. This kind of goes back to the beginning of the live where we were talking about what happens in 12 months if you don't deal with something now, okay? So weight gain and metabolic decline, this is number one. Belly fat has gotten worse, and now your doctor is warning you about prediabetes, fatty liver, or high triglycerides. Okay, we talked about that the other day. Your energy crashes become more intense, and you feel like you've aged 10 years in 1 year. Number two, mental and emotional burnout. The anxiety is relentless. You don't feel like yourself anymore. You are more reactive, more emotional, and the thought of handling one more thing makes you want to shut down. Number three, complete hormonal chaos, irregular cycles, hot flashes, sleep disturbances, PMS from hell. If you still have your cycle, your body is screaming for balance, but stress is keeping you in a constant state of fight or flight. Does this sound familiar? Digestive breakdown, the bloating, food sensitivities, and gut issues are at an all-time high. Your immune system is struggling and you catch every bug that comes around. This doesn't sound like fun, right? Like, we have to ask ourselves, why are we so susceptible to everything? And why do we feel like trash all the time? Okay. And then the last one is liver overload and inflammation. Your body isn't processing sugars and toxins effectively anymore. Fatigue is overwhelming. Your joints ache. You have chronic inflammation, and it's making everything harder from weight loss to brain function. But you absolutely can change this around, right? You can. So when I talk about the very base of everything being insulin resistance, it's because It's like if you're going to have a domino effect, hey, Julie, good to see you. Woohoo! If you're going to have a domino effect, the first hormone to go, the linchpin of your hormones is insulin. But nobody is telling you that. When you go to the doctor, they're not letting you know, hey, we should be checking your insulin first. Had they been checking my insulin back in my 20s, I would not have struggled for over 25 years. Now, my journey is my journey, right? And so between it being 25 years and then 35 years, I figured out my shiz and I was able to turn everything back. And now I have metabolic flexibility. I feel amazing. I'm the only one in my family to have avoided type 2 diabetes. I'm not on any meds. I'm 60 years old. I don't ache. I wake up and I don't ache. All of these things are not, you've been lied to. Oh, you're just getting older, honey. It's just your age. That's BS. And the first person who really got me to think differently, do you guys remember Suzanne Summers? Do you remember? So she was, on Three's Company, but she went on to she eventually had breast cancer, and then she went very, very holistic. And she just passed away. Was it last year? I think she passed away last year. But in the meantime, she had studied alternative treatment like a crazy person. And then she brought it to the marketplace as much as she could. But she taught it. And I remember her talking about how when it came to her cycle, she figured out how to like balance hormones and do all of these things. And not only did that then affect her weight positively, hello, that's what happens, but she also was able to she maintained her cycle she was in her 60s for sure. I don't even know if she ever lost her cycle. Her body was so well balanced, right? Even though she had gone through so much stress and, cancer and whatnot. But then she also was able to just have a very, very amazing sex life. And because her hormones were not taking a nosedive where her body was shutting down. So she would talk about these things and saying that you can be, I think her book was called Sexy After 50 or something like that. But that idea in my head got planted of, oh, we don't have to receive the information, the sentences that are being told to us about how, well, you're just getting old. Like age means your metabolism is slow. Age means that you ache and that you get arthritis. And age means that you get put on meds and that blah, blah, blah. And between Suzanne Summers and my own grandma, so my mom's mom, who died at 97, I think she was 97. Yep. She died at 97. And she was playing Scrabble until she died. The only reason she died was because she had a fall. I won't go into those details, but that's the only reason she died. Within 2 weeks, she was gone because, when you're 97 years old, your body can't handle that level of pain. Okay. Anyway, so they had to medicate her. But my point being that she was playing Scrabble until she died. So we assumed that was going to be my mother's elderly years. So as my mom was getting older, we were like, oh yeah, we're in like Flynn Man. She is Swedish. She's going to be just like her mother. No. She was taught really well by the Italian family. So unfortunately, she became like a total carb addict. She had renal cancer. She lost a kidney. It was contained. That was good. They told her that meat was bad. Stop eating protein. She became a carbaholic. Then she became type 2 because that's what's going to happen. And then she ended up with dementia because that's type 3. So her journey was the medical's response to her. The medical system matrix. She took their advice and it didn't go well. But anyway, my point being though, that you can actually have a completely different universe. If your body is aching all the time, your body's trying to tell you something. If your metabolism is really slow right now, your body is trying to tell you something. You're not supposed to just accept it and live with it. If you have high inflammation all the time, like, man, your joints hurt, your brain is foggy, your gut is messed up. These are all symptoms of your body saying, hello, something isn't right. Would you please get me into the mechanic? Would you please get me detailed? Right? And that's how we can change things around. That's what you were saying, Linda. So earlier in the conversation, one of the signs was that you wake up and immediately you're thinking about taking a nap. She says every day I wake up and decide, when can I take a nap? Yes. Well, you're probably not alone, Linda. You're probably not alone. It was actually one of the frustrating things over the New Year. We ended up getting sick, and I don't get sick. So I don't like doing sick because we don't get sick, like, ever. And man, we just got slammed over the New Year. And I'm like, what is going on? This is not me. And having that fatigue, I was like, I don't fatigue well, because I'm like, no, I'm used to waking up and feeling good and not aching and having energy. And yes, of course, I take supplements that help me, but I'm like, but I rarely drink coffee just because that's not my go-to. I would rather take adaptogenic herbs. But anyway, so I wanted to just wrap up today by telling you, in this whole course of talking about stress and cortisol and insulin resistance, I actually do have a cortisol cart that you can request from me. And I'm trying to think of how many products I put in there for you just to look at. Maybe it's 6 or 7. I'm going to look right now. And what I want to do is I want to be able to talk to you about, first of all, there's your insulin resistance, right? Getting your sugars down and your insulin down. Then there's getting your liver functioning. Then there's getting your digestion in check, which is like a gut primer. Hold on. I'm just going to pull this up here. If you go to my site, which is kirstenliebelt.com, you'll be able to see it. But if you don't want to do that and you just want to put cortisol cart in the comments on Facebook, I will get it for you. I will customize for you, so you don't have to just look at it and decide for yourself. I'll help you figure out what it is that you're looking for. Hold on. I spelled my name wrong. Isn't that funny? And there are ways that you can absolutely make a difference in the level of your stress and in the level of your body functioning, so that you don't feel, there we go. Oh my gosh, I thought it was not going to come up again. When you go to my site, this is what it looks like, you guys. Okay. And I do move my buttons around a little bit, but if you just scroll down, you'll see the cortisol care cart. But how many products did I put in there? I kind of recalibrated it a little bit this morning. That we've been talking about magnesium and ashwagandha a lot lately, and that special is still on, where when you buy 2 of the magnesium, you get a free ashwagandha. You guys, that's a $44 value. Don't miss out on that. If you haven't grabbed that yet, I had no idea, number one, they were going to do it. And I had no idea that they were not going to run out. Normally it's while supplies last, and then it's gone within 48 hours. It's still available, which is fascinating. I feel like they just did it differently. I put a chamomile tea in the cart for anybody who's like a tea drinker. I have a friend who, if she's having a hard time sleeping, she'll go to her kitchen and make herself that chamomile tea. And she's like, I go right off to sleep again. So for her, that's very helpful. This is like organic, right? You want organic on your body. I put in there a stress relief probiotic. And the reason why I did that is because, number one, probiotics are good no matter what when you're talking about your gut. But when you have one that's formulated specifically to help your body with stress, to help your body with fight or flight, that's just another level. It's a different level of care for your stressed out body, okay? So I just want you to think about that as well. And then the gut primer, which is, we talk about that all the time, 6 products in one. It looks like a greens product, but it's not. You just take 1 scoop every day. Tastes like tea, so I just put it in cold water, take it like a shot. And then things to help your liver, your sugars, and then the magnesium. And then the last 2 that I want to talk about, and again, you can go to the cart if you want to, or you reach out to me and I'll help you customize cortisol cart. You can just put that in the comments. And I will help you with that. But the last 2 that I wanted to talk about were the fish oil and the ashwagandha. And the fish oil, what people don't realize is that when you take a really good fish oil, it's reducing the inflammation inside of your gut. And that is, you don't want any fish oil. Please don't buy a fish oil at your drugstore, because if you're not going to eat farmed fish, which you don't want to be eating anyway, and you want wild caught, then you want your supplement to be wild caught too. Okay? I mean, I'm just telling you. Switching doctors because he doesn't believe in women's health. Oh, I hate that, Julie. I hate that. Bioidentical hormones as it's natural to age, but no one suggests he lives without his stuff. New doctor, here I come. Yes, Julie. Isn't that the truth? I'm telling you, you guys, I've just had a couple of things in my life that made me go, I think I'm going to have to watch out for myself. So just give yourself permission to be on your journey like that. But the fish oil all by itself, I have a wild caught fish oil that is spectacular. And I'm trying to even remember, it's very inexpensive in comparison to it's this is how this goes. I'm just going to give you this story right here. So the parent company of the line that I have used now for 14 years, they also owned the line that was in the clinics. Come on. That makes sense, right? You're going to have one line that's more nutraceuticals, and then you're going to have one line for the general public, but it's coming from the same section. And so I just want you to think about that for a second, okay? So they're putting out really good products just for two different demographics. But oftentimes the one in the clinic, no, not oftentimes. 100% what's offered in the clinic is going to be more expensive because that clinic has overhead. You're not paying my overhead. So that's why the pricing, so don't be confused by excellence like that. Don't understand that properly, okay? So anyway, let's see here. The fish oil, the basic fish oil is, slow internet, here we go, $24. It's pretty, it's laughable, but that's okay. Anyway, so just to let you know, and then the ashwagandha, when you see that in the cart, so ashwagandha is a wonderful adaptogenic herb, and adaptogenic herbs really shifted my world when I started taking them in my upper 40s. They help your body adapt to stress. And again, you don't want a plant that's not organic coming off of an organic farm. We talk about that a lot too, because it's concentrated then, and you don't want that plant, which is super tender, to be concentrated with glyphosate or whatever else, and then put into a pill form, and then you tell your liver to figure that out. So having an adaptogenic herb, it comes in and they support your adrenals. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, okay? So as a female, what you need to know is that your adrenals are the backup to your ovaries. So as your ovaries kind of phase out, you need to have your adrenals happy. I worked with a naturopath. Thank the Lord for her. She was so good at what she did. She taught me that the way that I took care of my adrenals was the way that I was going to go through menopause. So we don't have to be hot mess expresses. We don't actually. It's not a character flaw. It's not just trauma in your life, although it can be a piece to your puzzle. It's not just bad behavior, bad habits. You're a loser. You're just like your mother. You're never going to change. No, this is you looking at your body and going, okay, well, if my car looks like it has rust around the wheel wells, and it has kind of it's missing the rim on that back left tire, and the the hitch on the back is kind of rusted out, and inside the carpeting needs to be cleaned, and the whole thing needs to get detailed. You've got oil spillage on the engine. You've got these things going on. You would take it in to get it detailed so that it could work better. This is no different. And you end up driving off the lot with a whole newer version of yourself. And you can do this, but you're going to have to stop requiring your body to fix itself overnight. You're going to have to stop requiring your results to come by the weekend. And you're going to have to say, I am going to give myself the journey of 2025. I'm going to start right now and I'm going to decide that I'm going to take care of me. And I'm then going to look back up again at the end of the year. So I'll teach you in Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. I'll teach you in that group how to trade out your ingredients, how to make a different recipe, and how to fix your food. I never thought I could. I'm Italian, but yet I've done it. I'm still a foodie and I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s. Okay. But then you also start with the targeted supplementation. You wouldn't look at the mechanic when he says, well, you should probably get a new filter in there for your oil. And you're like, no, that's okay. I've got some cheesecloth in my drawer. Like, you wouldn't do that. You would actually try to get your liver to function at a higher level. You would actually try to get your insulin to come down. You would actually try to get the edge taken off of your anxiety so that you can think more clearly to make better decisions. So when I talk about the ashwagandha, even more so now, 1 week ago, I had zero idea that they were going to run that magnesium deal and then say, buy 2 magnesium, get 1 free ashwagandha. I had no idea they were going to do that, but that is the combo. It's the combo. It's the combo for your sleep. It's the combo for anxiety. It's the combo for filling in 300 different functions for your body because we're magnesium deficient, like upwards of 80% of us. Ashwagandha is for sleep, stress, and mood. Mood. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. Mood. Like your mood towards other people, your mood of feeling well balanced inside of yourself. Like that feeling, girls, that is, you don't put a price on that. Because when you have that sense of well-being, you're like, oh, that was a little piece of my old self. Like, oh, that's where she went. I mean, that's kind of how it made me feel. Cause I'm like, I thought maybe I was just going to be kind of like a crazy pants person forever. Or I was going to be, I didn't want to be that crazy menopause lady, right? So cortisol care cart, you can just put cortisol cart in the comments in Facebook or on YouTube, and then I'll see that and I'll come back and get that for you. You can go to my site, kirstenliebelt.com. You'll see it there. I'm trying not to sneeze. Or you can just reach out to me. You can text me. I think, my phone number is right up there for texting on TikTok. So you can just text me right there and you can just say, hey, I was on your live. Would you mind sending that cortisol cart over for me? I just want to see what's in it. And just because you see a cart filled with 6 or 7 products, it's not there for you to buy everything. It's there for you to be able to shop a specific conversation. So that's a conversation cart, right? Now, I know that there will be some of you that do just buy everything. That's great. That's perfect. I actually take the only thing that I don't do in that cart is I'm not a tea drinker. So I don't drink the chamomile tea. And actually, I do use a different probiotic. I have done the stress relief, but I feel like I don't need it. So I do a different balanced one. Okay. But otherwise, I am a user of everything I talk about because I actually like practice it on me and then I bring you guys the results. It's kind of what I do. But no matter what you choose to do, you pick and choose what you want. You add it to your own cart. Please make sure that you go to the top of the page where there's a person icon, head and shoulders, and register with your name. And I'm going to give you 2 reasons why you want to do that. Number 1, you want to get the best shipping. Over $139, shipping is free $99. It's free. Okay. If you're in Canada, I have a Canadian link for you and you have different parameters. And then they launched, and this is the first month that they launched it. And so there's still time to take advantage of this. But every time that you purchase 150 or more subtotal 3 months in a row, on that 3rd month, you earn $75 back. Like you earn $75 off of that 3rd order. And you can do that as many times as you want, as long as this launch goes. Like this is a long-term launch here to stay. So you haven't missed the first month. Many of you have already taken advantage of this and you got your first month under your belt. But what if you started to streamline where you were getting everything that's in your cupboard? And now you go 150, 150, 75, 150, 150, 75, because you're earning back that 75. I literally had a customer that just started this promo, and she's the only one. And we were putting together her cart. It landed exactly at 150. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, wow, you're not even a penny over. She was exactly at 150 with what she was choosing. And it can be any products. So anyway, but I don't want you to miss out on things like that. So take the time if you're like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting to me. Listen, I went online yesterday and I shopped on Chico's. Do you guys know what Chico's is? And I went to the website and they sent me a text code like, you know what, if you sign up for our emails, you get this 20% off, blah, 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 whatever. And so, because I was looking for a specific dress blouse. And I found it. They gave me, the deal, like this is on sale, whatever. And then I went back and I got my code and I put my code in and I wanted to make sure. And then all of a sudden it didn't work. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, I wanted to buy it because it was on the deal. Like, I'm a deal person. So I went out of it and I went back and I started it all over again from the email. And then I went to my text and I grabbed the code, the extra code, and then I did it all over again and it worked and it was great. And actually it was $9 less than the first time I did it. So I was like, just like game on, like I want the deal. So I always want to make sure that I tell you guys, listen, I understand what it's like when you're trying to just make sure that you're being a good steward of your resources, and maybe you want to cut a corner and save a penny and earn a dollar and all of those things. Well, as a customer, finally they have launched something that is like really generous for earning money in that arena for you guys. And it's like the perks like that are with the customer, and you should be treated like a VIP. Okay. But this is where I come in, right? That's why I do what I do as a business owner. I'm here for you. Like, you've got me in your back pocket. As a customer, you have me in your back pocket. And that actually is valuable, right? Because then I can help you navigate something. I can grab you a phone number. I can grab you, whatever it is. I can help you tweak a routine that you're doing. If that didn't work for you, there's a 6-month guarantee on all the products. I'll teach you the food ingredient trade outs. I'll teach you the pieces that you need so you have a track to run on. You don't ever want to feel alone or like you don't have somebody that you can hook arms with to do this journey with. Okay. You don't have to do it alone. And you can feel empowered and emboldened to take back your own health and become your own advocate. So how does that sound for today, you guys? I hope you have like the best day ever. Tomorrow, I'll be back at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the next challenge that is in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women is Monday, April the 7th and through Friday, April the 11th. And I'll be live in the group at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time every day. Dr. Mary Claire. Have worked with doctors who abbreviated women as a WW, a whiny woman. Oh my gosh. They suggest they drink wine and relax. OMG, Julie. Oh my stars. She's spearheading women's health. Dr. Haver. Very good. Yes. Seriously, you know what? If we can't have our own advocacy, then we got to just do it ourselves. And you know what? We have to stop thinking that everything is so freaking mountainous and that everything is so out of reach and that we have to have a team of doctors for freaking everything all the time. And sometimes we do, but sometimes it really is just this basic information. I literally have my mother's body type. I was convinced that I was going to have hip issues just like her. Guess what? I don't ache. I don't have inflammation in my body like she did. I go to the chiropractor. I supplement. I eat completely differently than she did. Completely differently. I have a puzzle piece. I do that with my left hand. I take a chance on TikTok. You may not know what that is. You have to move a puzzle piece to prove you're not a robot. But anyway, and so when I had a doctor after I had my shoulder surgery, and literally I went in for surgery with a period, I came out of my surgery and never had a period again. And 6 months after I had the surgery, I said to a female doctor, so bizarre, like, what's the connection between, I was serious, like, I'm trying to understand. I'm just like, curious Katie over here going, so what's the connection between like having my surgery and then like never having a cycle again? And she goes, Well, there's no connection. And that was the first time that I went, holy crap. Like, like she's more disengaged from my body than I am. Like, wow, she's a female doctor. Shouldn't she know? No, 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 no. That's not what she was trained in. She just wasn't at all. So anyway, so you have to do it for yourself. But you know what? Like Stuart Smalley on SNL, you're smart enough. You're wise enough. You're kind enough. You like know more than you think you do. You used to be attached to your body really well when you were an adolescent. You noticed every change that ever came your way. You can go back to being attached to your body and assessing and assessing and assessing and assessing, and then assess it so that you're enjoying and you have joy and you still have a vibrant, like sex life. You still have a vibrant, strong body. You have a vibrant mind. You have like energy for days. You can keep up with your grandbaby, whatever it is. You don't have to be a hot mess express. We've coined all of those phrases and we have to stop saying them about ourselves, and we can go back. Let's go back because we can. Even though we kind of, treated our body a little bit like a rental car, we can go back and get it back working again. We just got to get it detailed. So if you need the cortisol care cart, reach out to me. Tell me you need to see some of those pieces. Let's get you customized and up and running. I will see you tomorrow, Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, all right. Have a good day, you guys. So fun to chat. So fun. See you later.